We'll now move on to discussion items. And again, we've amended the agenda to follow I-1, 2, 4, 5, and 3. So we'll now move on to item I-1, which is approval of public disclosure of proposed collective bargaining agreement.
Yes, so the purpose of this item is to secure the board's approval of the public disclosure of proposed collective bargaining agreement as required by AB 1200. And our CBO, Mark Bonet, is here tonight to give the board an overview of this requirement and why it's essential for us for you to take action on this prior to approval of the collective bargaining agreement. Mr. Bonet.
These forms are required every time a school district agrees to a contract with their bargaining units, be it classified or certificated. And you should have seen these before with past negotiations and tentative agreement approvals. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. But for the public, this document is proof that the district can indeed afford the settlement that we have on the table with our bargaining unit, and that we can meet our financial obligations for the next 3 years after this agreement goes into place. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Board members?
You want to explain or expound to the public what the agreement entails as far as?
That's the next item.
That's the next item.
That's the next item.
Okay.
This is just that we can fiscally afford the proposed agreement, and that we're able to meet our financial obligations over the next 3 years after this agreement goes into place. The superintendent and the CBO are required to sign off on this before it goes to the board, and that we have concurred that we can afford this year and the next 3 years.
And does this too, this also has to be, or it has already gone to the county, for instance, as another oversight layer, correct?
Yes, this was available more than 10 days before this board meeting, and before that, this did go to the County Office of Education for review.
Okay. Straightforward. Any other questions from board members?
Nope.
Are there any public comments regarding this particular item, this topic? All right. Seeing none.
Move approval.
Easy.
Second.
Awesome. I have no objections. Are there any objections? I should ask that. None. So we'll roll call. Great. Thank you, Ms. Emeryville.
President Dice?
Yes.
Member Simon?
Yes.
Member Dwin?
Yes.
Thank you. So we'll now move on to item I-2, approval of ETA and EUSD 2012-13 contract reopener tentative agreements.
Yes, so the purpose of this item is to approve the 2012-13 contract reopener tentative agreement with the ETA and the Emeryville Unified School District 2011-14 bargaining unit agreement. Again, we have Marion Harrell, our HR director, here to answer any of the questions in the first part of the agreement, and we also have our CBO here to answer any of your financial questions associated with the document.
Good evening. Good evening.
Do you have any questions?
So, well, probably, I think just for the public's, it may be helpful to know what the what this means, or this just if you can maybe procedurally what this means.
Just a brief summary.
Yeah.
Currently, there's a contract in place that went from 2010, I believe it is, 2011. Currently, there's a contract in place that goes from 2010 to the end of this year, 2014. And this particular round of negotiations opened up last year, prior year, 12-13. And with that, there were certain requests made by the bargaining unit, some requests made by the management, by the district, and the two parties came to agreement. And in summary, there were agreements on things such as We were talking about a work day, so there's a pilot program in place this year. Should there be a true need to have a class that begins earlier in the day or a class that ends later, they've given us this 1 year to pilot it, should that be necessary. Then we moved into leaves. So this year, although it was done for the 12-13 year, going forward, we have now implemented what we call a catastrophic leave policy. And that came about because last year, year before, we had a number of staff who were out for really serious issues. And that brought about the concern for their well-being and them being able to sustain while they were temporarily out. So we worked very well with CTA to craft a catastrophic leave policy. There was a little bit of adjustments made to the child-rearing leave. Whereas before, teachers could ask and maybe would have gotten some of the leaves, now they can have up to a semester or a second semester of child-rearing leave, should that be necessary, and should they be able to afford that. There was a modest adjustment to the professional growth dollars that teachers can receive for their professional growth conferences or courses that they take or that they attend.
Is that an increase or decrease?
It went from 165 to 200. And there was a few other modifications to some of the other leaves, minor modifications to those. And there was in terms of salary, I want to work with the words increased payoff bonus, a 5% off schedule payment for last year. So this year, we would be looking at, there will be negotiations again this year, reopening either this year and/or moving into the successor. So that's what these agreements are. ETA is in agreement with it. Their membership signed off on it. The membership has all voted to ratify it. So tonight we're here asking board approval.
So just to kind of clarify, the salaries, you said that was a 5% one-time bonus?
We called it off schedule.
Right.
People may equate it to a bonus or to a one-time payment. I'm just trying to pick the words that would just mean it's not ongoing. It's simply one payment for the 12-13 year.
Okay, thank you.
Based upon those salaries.
Thank you for that explanation. Are there any questions from board members? Sorry. So quick, huh? Any questions?
I'll just make a comment that I really appreciate the teachers working with us because we've been in a very odd time with the state funding. The state funding has made its first major change in how we fund schools since 1982. And so we're all trying to figure out what it means and how much money there is, and we're all trying very carefully not to get in a situation which this district has gotten into in the past and other districts have gotten into where we agree to things and then discover that the money is not what we thought it was. So I really appreciate the professionalism and the care and thoughtfulness with which the bargaining unit has worked with us, and we will continue to, as the realities of how schools are funded become clearer to us, we'll continue to do what we can to make sure that we support our teachers. So thank you.
Echo.
Ditto.
So I would love to open this up to any public comments, if there is any, on this particular item before the board has action this evening. All right, seeing none, may I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
This is like the easy. All right, and any objections? Are we going to do a roll call, please?
President Dice?
Yes.
Member Dwin?
Yes.
Member Simon?
Yes.
Thank you. And again, to echo what Vice President Simon said, is the hard work and focus in which the bargaining unit as well as staff has brought to this has been remarkable, especially where we were at different places earlier this school year even. So I think it's a sign of working well together, and so we hope to continue that tradition as we move forward. So thank you again. We'll now move